Good night. Hi, it's me, Marty. Boy, I'm kind of whitewashed because the sun's shining. I'm actually sitting in front of my shop. I hung up my one sign. I actually had that in the back of my truck, and I took it out, and it's hanging up there now for advertising my wood signs. Anyway, I'm going to try to do a video here. I'm kind of on a roll today. This is my third video of the day that I've made. As a matter of fact, I usually turn my phone on airplane mode so that notifications don't come in while I'm making the video. But I don't want to do that because I'm actually uploading another video to YouTube. So we'll see how this works because the neighbors are mowing their lawn, so hopefully it won't be too noisy. So anyway, just another quick little video. This is going to be my story, and this isn't going to be like an hour-long video. It's going to be about a 15-minute video. I'm going to do the quick version of my life story. I don't know if anybody really cares out there, but you never know. Everybody has a story. I'd like to know your story. I mean, if you want to share, as a matter of fact, if any of my subscribers, friends, family out there, if you want to share videos or share your story or share things you've made or things about your life, pictures, videos in the comments, you know, that would be cool. We all have a story, and it's just neat to share our story with others. So yeah, and I know that, you know, we've all had trials and struggles and joys and happiness and different things in our life, and it's I mean, most of us, if not all, well, everybody in the world is blessed. Some people go through bigger trials, but we are all blessed in some way, and most of us are blessed beyond belief compared to a lot of other people in the world. So yeah, so I just want to share my story a little bit, so you know a little bit about me. And again, it's going to be a brief version. I actually started to write my story about 10 years ago. I like to write. I love to write. I like to write papers, college papers and stuff. I love writing. I like words more than numbers. Math isn't my thing at all. So I like words. That's maybe why I like to scroll saw words, and now I'm making words and signs. And so I like to write, and I actually wrote my story, and I'm still fine-tuning it. I keep rewriting things, and yeah. So, but just want to share a little bit just on my life, my story. So, my name's Marty, and yeah, when the sun comes out, it's a little warm. It's really gorgeous today. It's like 60s. It's a lot nicer because it was getting up in the 80s already, and it's like May. 60s is nicer. So I wish the sun would go under though, because it's a little cooler, and that's not my face. But anyway, so this is my story. My name is Marty. I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, and my parents, my mom and dad, my biological mom and dad, they got divorced when I was like a year old. And again, if any family out there, my brothers and sisters, remember and know more than I do, you can correct me if you want. But a lot of my past and younger days and life is kind of blurry and foggy and whatever. But what I remember, well, I don't remember being born, but you know, what I've heard, you know, I'm pretty sure I was born. I mean, so. And if anybody stops over, or the lawnmower gets too loud, then I'll just stop this or pause it. Anyway, boy, I ramble, don't I? Marty's ramblings. That's it. So. Beautiful day. I was doing something. No, just kidding. I'm telling my story. Okay. So I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota. My mom and dad were divorced when I was about a year old. And divorce is just something that happens. It's not God's ideal, and it's, you know, not the best, but it happens. Sometimes it's for the best. It just, you know, if you can stick it out, it shouldn't even be an option. If you don't make divorce an option or splitting up an option, then you can always work through things. But there is abuse and neglect and all that kind of stuff, and which isn't good. So it happens. But no matter what, it's always hard on the kids. It just is, and a lot of times it affects their whole life. But it's a part of life. But anyway, my parents were divorced when I was about a year old, and I had two older brothers and three other older sisters, and they went with my dad. And then my dad remarried shortly after that, I think. And I stayed with my mom. She kept me, and then she remarried shortly after that. So I grew up with my mom and my stepdad. My stepdad was in the military, so we moved around a little bit. I mean, the earliest home I remember, I mean, I was born in a hospital in St. Paul, and I believe we lived in Brooklyn Center when I was born. We were all together there. But then when they split up, then the first place I remember after that was like a older two-story house in Minneapolis, in North Minneapolis. I remember it was a few blocks from the old Sears building. There was a Sears store that was like a tower. It was so cool. I think the building's still there, but it's not Sears anymore. But I still remember that. It was just so cool. It's almost like a historical building. I don't know what's in there now, but I'm pretty sure the building's still there. But anyway, so I was in Minneapolis, and then if I remember right, we moved to Georgia because my stepdad, he was in the military in Fort Benning, Georgia, I think, around that area. And so I think I lived in Georgia for a while, and then we moved back, and I think back to Minneapolis again for a while. And then we moved to Anoka, which is just north of the cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. It's just north. It's a suburb, kind of, basically. Small town, I don't remember. We might have had 12,000, maybe 15,000. Bigger than Litchfield here. But Halloween capital of the world was Anoka. And that's where I pretty much grew up. And when I was younger, I was painfully shy. You know, I was painfully shy and didn't have any friends. And, my parents were divorced. And so I didn't know my brothers and sisters. I didn't really get to know them that well. I was a little bit closer to my sister Sherry because she was closer to my age and she lived with us off and on. But I didn't get super close. I love them all, but I never got to really know them that well. Because there was a gap in age, and they went and lived with my dad, and I was with my mom for many years. But yeah, I was painfully shy. School was hard, everything. I had a couple of really good friends that meant a lot to me when I was younger, and it got me through life, and so yeah. My younger days were, I was shy and struggled in school. But I had a couple good friends, and I had some good times, and I see my dad once in a while. I mean, that was the biggest, hardest thing in my childhood, I think, not having my dad around all the time. He would pick me up and take me fishing and camping, and sometimes I'd just go to his house and hang out for the weekend, and sometimes he'd go out in the garage and, putts in the shop, and he didn't really have a wood shop, but he had a, just garage, and he had an old wood stove in there, and it had a workbench, and he'd work on stuff on the cars or trucks or whatever, that his vehicles and stuff. And he always had a pickup. He always had a Ford pickup. As I'm sitting here looking at my Chevy. Anyway, and yeah, I still remember that old wood stove. I wish I could have a wood stove like that in my shop. It'd be neat. But and I still remember he had an old Dove dishwashing liquid bottle full of oil, used oil. I don't know how safe that is or anything about it, but he had old used oil in there, and he'd throw some scrap wood in the wood. It was a big drum he made, a wood burning stove, and he'd squirt it in there to get the fire going, the oil. But I still remember the Dove bottle. Yeah. Anyway, just hanging out with him. That was kind of neat, and that's kind of where I got the idea to have a little shop and do putts with wood. And then later, like my mom remarried again, and he kind of helped me do a little bit of woodworking and stuff, and then I got into woodworking years later. Anyway, I can get ahead of myself, but so I would see my dad. He'd take me over to his house once in a while, or go camping and fishing. I have lots of great memories fishing and camping. It wasn't a lot though. I was just, most of the time I was home with my mom and stepdad. And I love my stepdad, but he drank a lot, and him and my mom were gone a lot. So even at a young age, I was home alone a lot, and just, lots of ups and downs. I was pretty sad a lot when I was younger, but again, I had some good times too. But school was really hard, and now I love to learn. Now I love to teach. I wish I would have stayed, but I didn't. So right after ninth grade, I dropped out of school. I shouldn't have, but it was just so hard, and I struggled with so much. Just not having friends was the hardest part. I didn't mind classes and stuff, um, but so I dropped out, and then I was just kind of lost. As a young adult, I was just, I got into drinking. I wasn't managing my money well, and just didn't have much direction. I didn't know God at a young age. I mean, I went to church. My parents took me to church, dropped me off at Sunday school. I was confirmed. That didn't mean anything. So God wasn't real in my life when I was young. So in my younger days, yeah, I went from job to job and place to place, and just ups and downs. And um, my mom. So my mom and stepdad, they eventually got a divorce, and then he died of cancer, and then my mom remarried again. So my second stepdad, he was a really nice guy, but by then I was older, and I didn't get real close to him, and didn't really want another dad. I was just kind of, yeah, but he was a nice guy, and but then yeah, I basically between 17 and a half on there, I moved out. I moved in with friends, and I ended up getting my own apartment and job early on. And yeah, I just struggled in my younger days, probably up until 25, 26, something like that. No direction. I was very irresponsible, made a lot of wrong choices and stuff. But then I met Yvonne, and we fell in love, and I finally had somebody to love, and we got married and had 3 kids, Danny, Hayden, and Nikki, and I was incredibly happy, very happy, finally. And in jobs, I did woodworking jobs here and there, lots of factory work, and I was never happy in any work or jobs, and I struggled still in that, and I still do today. But we had a wonderful marriage. We were married for a little over 11 years, and she died of cancer in 2004. I was very sad, very hard. My kids were still young. Our kids were still young, and so. But that was a point. Well, actually, before she died, she died in 2004. In 1996, 3 years after we were married, I accepted Christ, and that was life changing. I mean, having her come into my life was wonderful and beautiful, but I was still missing something. And then when I, accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior, that just was everything. So I had pure joy since then. Lots of ups and downs still, but I have Jesus. So yeah, we both accepted Jesus in 1996. And in 2001, we moved from, we bought a house in Brooklyn Center right across from the house where I was born in. I wasn't born in the house, but that's where we lived when I was born. And we bought a house right across the street. And then 2001, we moved out to Litchfield, about 70 miles west of Minneapolis. Just this nice little small farm town. And we've been here ever since. It's 2018 now, so we've been here about 16, 17 years. And in 2004, she died of cancer, and it was really hard. But it was a struggle and sad. But I cherished her memory, and I tried to be the best dad I could be, and be with my kids as much as I could, and try to make a living from home, different small businesses and stuff, so I could be with them more. Because I just adore my kids. I love them, and help them to remember her. And it was a really hard time. It was a struggling time, but it was also a time where I got even closer to God. My relationship with Christ grew. That's when I started singing on the worship team in our small church, and getting involved in men's Bible studies and small groups, and serving in the church. Not just being a consumer, but serving and helping people to know Christ. And just, yeah, so that was a hard time when she passed away, but that was a time when God really, I got closer to God too. And a lot of people did, really. Her example of her life and her faith affected a lot of people. And then a couple years later, I met Marilyn, and I wasn't planning on ever getting married again. And I was just happy just being alone, just me and my kids, and serving God. But we fell in love, and she had a really hard marriage that she came from, and we fell in love. That was about 2 years later, and we got married, and we've been married just over 12 years now. We have a wonderful marriage. So yeah, and 2002, as far as work and jobs, 2002, well, I cut my finger pretty much off, and they did a surgery, and they did a horrible job because it's crooked. But anyway, it was a saw that was defective, and it was kind of just ripped it off. Anyway, that's another story. I should get some pictures out. Anyway, I always share that in my safety part of my scroll saw classes I teach. But anyway, cut my finger off, and then I was off of work, on workman's comp or whatever, for a couple of months for my finger. They had me in a cast and all this stuff, and couldn't do a lot at that job because I worked in a wood shop building saunas, and then and that was kind of a turning point. I decided to become a truck driver. I always liked trucks, big trucks, and watch truck driving music, watch truck driving music. I don't think so. Watch truck driving music, and I said it again. Truck driving movies, and listen to truck driving music when I was younger. And me and my friend Chad, we'd ride our bikes and park by the highway and wave at truck drivers. And so I thought, oh, I'll be a truck driver. And that was a really good thing. It really was, because I went to truck driving school, and then I got into a nice small company, and I worked for, I don't know, gosh, last 15, 20 years really, I've been working in transportation. But driving truck came really natural to me, and working for these little companies, just beautiful, nice trucks, and I drive all over the country, and I really loved it. And I try to be a good example of a truck driver and share Jesus on the road. And when I had downtime, I was reading my Bible or just talking to people, and getting up in the morning on a cool morning, getting coffee and starting the day driving. I just loved it, and I was good at it, and it was really good money. And it could have been even better if I would have stuck with it. I bounced around from company to company, and but I was a truck driver for many years, and it was hard being away from home because I was over the road most of the time. And but I took my kids with, I took Yvonne with, I took Marilyn with. My dad went on a few trips. That's when we actually had probably the best times of our relationship. Him riding with me, truck driving, and we got to talk and stuff, and it was really neat. And my friend Chad went on a trip with me. So yeah, just taking people with it was kind of neat. And then I did a lot of local jobs, and I drove bus, and I drove transit bus for a while, and then I went back to truck driving. And so I've worked a lot of places. I've always done really well, but I bounced around a lot, just not being content or not feeling that I was where God wanted me to be. In hindsight, if I could go back, I'd probably stick with the first job I ever had, or one of the first jobs, or even trucking, or and do better financially. For my family. And I've always worked really hard. I've been working for 35 years, 40 to 80 hours a week, and nothing really to show for it. But I've always done my best and never been fired. I just kind of bounce around, and but I'll probably never retire now. That's okay. I love the work. But a couple of years ago, I made a switch from truck driving to education, and decided since I was about 15, I want to be a teacher or help kids in some way. And so I made the switch, and I took a job as a full-time para in a small school, and I loved it. I was there about a year and a half, one full year, and then another half year, and it was half a year, and then the whole next year I was there, and just loved it. Lots of ups and downs, but wonderful school, great kids, and wonderful staff, and made some good friends there. And then I went back to college to try to finish my degree to be a teacher. And this past year, I started it while I was doing full-time college, and realized I just can't do full-time college and part-time work. It doesn't work. So I got a job in another school, and even better, just a wonderful, wonderful school. And I'm still there, and I just love it. And wonderful staff and students. And I'm able to, the other school I was at, I was able to teach a scroll saw woodworking class I put together. It was wonderful. Just a few weeks a year, but it was wonderful. And where I'm at now, they've let me do that for a whole semester now. Just got a few more days left of the class, and I have my own classroom. I just love it. I wish I could do it full time, but I love being there. But I've realized, I'm almost 52, and it's probably too late to finish my degree. And I got a really good offer. Well, school year's almost done, so I got to get a job for the summer. I got a really good offer to drive truck locally, and not even a big truck, just a small truck, really good pay. And so I took that for the summer. It's year round, but I'm praying that if God wants me to stay at the school I'm at and continue to teach woodworking classes, that somehow he'd open a full-time opening for me there, even if it's a combination of jobs. Still doing my scroll saw woodworking classes, but doing other things. But it just needs to be full-time and a little bit better pay. I don't care to get rich in education, but I got to pay my bills. And so if God wants me to stay there, I know He'll open a door in the fall that I can go back again. So, but anyway, for the summer, I'm going to be driving, delivering around Minnesota, and hopefully I'll be back in the fall. If not, I'll just drive the rest of my life. I like to do that too. If I'm not going to teach, I love teaching. I love working with kids, and I just love that atmosphere and everything. If I can't do that, I'd rather work by myself. I'm not a factory kind of worker. I like to be on my own. So driving is one of my favorite things to do, being out on my own if I can't teach. So we'll see what God does. But yeah, that's kind of, I've been blessed with two wonderful marriages, really. Just both of them just wonderful, and 3 precious kids, and got 4 step kids and 9 step grandkids. Well, they're like real grandkids, but I just had my first biological granddaughter. My daughter had a baby, Adeline. She's a few months old now, and I just adore her. And blessed with lots of wonderful family. Yeah, just lots of extended family, different directions, and lots of friends. I don't have any super close friends that I see every day. I have a few good friends that I see a few times a year. They're really good friends. I wish I had some that get together for coffee even once a week, but that's okay. I've had a lot of wonderful people in my life, and still have a lot of wonderful people in my life, and I've had a lot of tragedy and trials. I've made a lot of mistakes and wrong decisions, but I've been blessed, and God's blessed me in my life. And I don't know, I might, still might finish my degree and keep working in schools, and I think a lot of people are praying I can stay there. I hope I can, and we'll see. Or I'll drive, that's fine too. I might even go over the road again. I just love that. Maybe Marilyn can go with me, or I don't know. I want to try to just not, I've always dwelt on my past mistakes and wrong decisions. I always look at them as failures, but maybe they weren't. Maybe God was just putting me different places. And maybe this was just a season, or maybe it's going to continue. We'll see. But I just try to find joy and peace in every day. And one of my favorite things is just to help people smile, help people, give them hope, to help them to know God, and not just to get them to go to church. It's not about that. Help them to know Jesus, and then they'll want to go to church. And just help people that are struggling. And I don't feel like I've done that much lately, but I like to help people. And so I'm going to be 52. I hope I have many years left, but there's people that die as children, teenagers, young people. I'm 52. If I died today, I've had a blessed life. There's a lot more things I want to do, and for God and for others, and I hope I have many years, but a lot of people don't have hardly any years, and they've had a blessed life. And then you hear people that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s and complaining and doing all these things to prolong their life. And and that's bad. I'm just saying we should be blessed whatever we have, however length of life we have. Many people have had less, and so I've had a blessed life, and I just pray that every day I can help others know Jesus. So I just try to cherish every day. I don't have a ton of hobbies. One of them is making goofy videos for YouTube. It was really funny because I started this 7-8 years ago, and just did a few videos. But in the last year, I've done 60, 70 or what. I've done most of my videos in the last year. And just unedited, weird, goofy videos, me. Just share my faith, being goofy, doing woodworking things, and hope it helps somebody to smile. And I like to canoe, go out and, I love being by the water. I like biking, spending time with my wife and kids, and I love having coffee with friends. I don't do that enough. I like just having quiet time with God. I don't do that enough. I have devotions every day, and I read the Word and I worship, but I don't take time to just be still enough, and I should do that more. I think we all need that. We all need God. Sorry, I don't mean to preach this, but yeah, I know I've probably left out people and events and different things that have happened, and but just a little glimpse of my life. Um, I was going to say I'm nothing special, but I am. We're all special. God created each one of us, and um, you know, I just pray that I like to, think that I've made a difference in people's lives. I hope that I've honored God, and I'm hoping I have years left that I can do that. And wherever He sends me, whatever I'm doing. I love my woodworking hobby and scroll sign, and now I'm making signs. So it's kind of fun, yeah. And I love teaching the scroll sign to my students, and actually cut out all their names because I know. No, anyway, I'm making something for my students for my class because I know a few of them watch these. I don't know why. It's weird, but anyway, making a special gift, and gotta finish those for them. And yeah, I'll be doing the classes again in the fall because I want to do an intro to scroll sign, which is the one I just taught, and an advanced scroll sign class. And I'd like to teach students to make these routed signs too. It'd be fun. Oh, and so many other. I'm gonna make boxes. I could make Adirondack chairs like I'm sitting on. All kinds of other woodworking. And when I teach it, I share scripture, life lessons, and my stories, and try to just encourage and inspire. And I hope I do that. But so hi everybody in my class, because I know some of you watch. If you're watching and you're in my class, comment. Because I don't even know. I know a few of you that watch, but I don't know how many and who, and if you want. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I just Jesus is number one, and my wife and kids and friends and family, and yeah. I know I've left out people and events and different things that have happened, but just wanted to give you a little glimpse of my story. I'd love to hear all your story. Hey, I stayed under 30 minutes. Yay, 27 minutes. That's not bad for me. Yeah, I don't want to eat that. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what that bug did in there, but oh, it's a gorgeous day. I just encourage you to cherish every day and share your life and your story with other people. Realize that we're all here for a reason. We're not just here to make money and die or for our own needs and our own desires. We're here to make a difference in the world and other people. It might just be one person, it might be lots of people. But just, try to seize every day and make the most of every day and enjoy every day and share it with others and honor God. And that's just my encouragement to you. And yeah, so share your story. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening to my story. Thank you, and have a great day.